Welcome. I'm so glad you're joining me. For those of you who are just starting, the Orca Swim Show is a weekly show where I bring both information about how the brain works when embarking on change, especially something that is fearful, and we take it to the lab of the swimming pool. After 30 years of teaching in the pool, it's time to hop out of the water and share how the learning works in and out of the water in the same way. The water is a perfect lab to test the learning process because you get fast and immediate feedback along with very satisfying rewards. When you focus on the needs of the brain-body connection and not just a list of skills, then you can obtain lasting and satisfying results. Our pool is a warm 92. Let's hop in and go from regret and missing out to action and freedom.
Hi, welcome to today's episode. I'm excited to share this information with you about confidence. This is a really common thing that we hear from students. I just want to feel confident. I want to feel confident in myself. I want to feel confident in the water. I can do things. I've done things, but I don't feel confident and self-assured. How do I become confident in the water? So that's what we're going to talk about today. So you can have some answers and start playing with it. So let's get started with some definitions. Let's see if I can get my slides to work. Here we go. So we're going to start with just some definitions so we know what's what. The first one is, what is confidence? Confidence is a feeling or a belief that one can rely on someone or something, a firm trust. Another definition is a state of feeling certain about the truth of something. I know for sure this is the truth. When I throw a rubber ducky into the water, I know for certain it will float. I've tested this. I've seen evidence of this. I've had practice with this. I have firm confidence in this truth. And the third definition is a feeling of self-assurance arising from one's appreciation of one's abilities or qualities. So this is about the self, right? Not relying on somebody else, but having confidence in your abilities. Now, something to notice here is that none of these definitions had anything to do with skills. There was not a particular set of skills executed in a particular way to give you confidence. Didn't talk about that. However, when I work with people in the water, they often present with the idea of when they get a set of skills that looks a particular way, then they will have confidence. But it really doesn't work this way. Let's go back into our definitions here. So the first definition, it's about a belief and trust. These are the foundational elements of learning to swim. A belief and trust in yourself. It's not a belief and trust that you know all the things to know, that you can do everything there is to do, but rather that you can figure it out bit by bit. It is easy to have a sense of lacking in confidence when you say, well, that's because confidence comes from over there in that future place. But if you don't start with being trustworthy, then you will miss the confidence today and in the future. So when you can do that thing in the future, it won't have confidence, even though you have a skill, because you didn't bring the confidence along the way. You didn't bring that trust in yourself along the way. The second definition is about having a certainty of truth. These are your building blocks. If you do not have each step rooted in a firm certainty of truth, then you cannot have confidence. This is the marker of when it's time to move to the next step. The trap we see students getting into is wishing that they are in a different place than they currently are. This prevents them from building a certainty of truth, of how the water works. Give yourself the gift of time and experience so you can have a certainty of truth, to understand the water like you understand gravity. Each morning you sit up in bed and you swing your legs over to the floor, and there's no thinking about how to use your muscles to overcome gravity to stand. Some days you may be creaky and slow, right? But you'll figure it out. You have a certainty of truth of how gravity and how your muscles work. You're confident. This brings us to our third definition. That is about an appreciation of one's abilities. In order to appreciate one's abilities, you must first be present to them. Not in a state of wishing for a different set of abilities, but to actually be present to the abilities you currently possess. The big challenge here is doing more of what you can do, because once you can do something, you often no longer think of it as a thing. Go back to the standing up example. If you were to list all of the things you can do during the day, it's not likely, unless you're very young or you're recovering from illness or injury, that you would name standing as a thing you could do. This, however, is the amount of space you want to give yourself when learning the foundational steps of swimming, to pay such close attention to the tiny steps that they become a part of you, like understanding gravity. Oops, I skipped ahead. Sorry. Now, your brain is going to want to lure you over to what you cannot do yet, to worry, to judge, to compare, to prevent you from changing your narrative or asking your brain to do the hard work of figuring out what to do. When you're trying to search for what can I do, what do I have confidence in, where do I have presence in, this is where your brain's going to sabotage you and take you on all these other side trips. However, if you want to build confidence, then you need to be able to spend time with what you can do. From here, the next smallest step is revealed. When you spend time in what you cannot do, the only steps that are revealed are the steps that are too far away from you for right now. The next step is another step of unconfidence. We have to find the step that we can do. All three definitions have one word in common: to feel. Confidence is a feeling, not an action. Again, if you are looking to a skill to give you confidence, you will not find it. We see this time and time again when we have students come to us and they can do a remarkable number of skills. We've had many people who say they can swim enough to save themselves, but they are not confident swimmers. They have skills, but they lack the feeling of confidence. This feeling of confidence is important because it is our thoughts and our feelings that drive our actions and give us our results. So confidence is up here in the thoughts and feeling line, not in the action results line. This brings the question of how to change from a feeling of non-confidence to confidence. It starts with allowing yourself to be exactly where you are to begin with. Just be with your lack of confidence without pushing it away. There is not a need to judge yourself for it, wish it away, or ignore it. Being present with the feeling will help to get the questions that need to be answered. Take out a sheet of paper and write down the thoughts that come to mind that produce a feeling of unconfidence. Now, I'm going to give you examples that are water examples, but you could do this for anything. You could put this into action today, right now, with something in your life that you have, that you want to work on right away. And then when you're ready to do it with the pool, you can do it with the pool too. So here's some of the things that I hear from people. I don't know how to get air. I don't know what to do in the water. If I go into the deep end, I may sink and I must move vigorously to make sure I can get to the side. I don't know how to tread water, and I must be able to do this to be safe in the deep end. Snorkeling looks like such fun, but the tides might take me away. These are usually the places where we stop or we ask somebody else to be responsible. Asking someone else to be responsible can be a bridge to confidence, but what you really want is to have confidence in yourself. Dig into your thoughts. Roll back the layers and see when the thought goes from a feeling of unconfidence to confidence. I'll use the example, I don't know how to get air. What else goes into this thought? I don't know how to get air using side breathing, as in the front crawl. This is on one side of the spectrum. This is a common thought, right? I can't get breathing. I can't figure out breathing in that side breathing thing. How about the other side of the spectrum where you have confidence of air? Look to that. Well, like right now, as you're listening to this, are you worried that you can't breathe? Could we say you actually do know how to get air with confidence and ease? So on one side of the spectrum, I can't get air in this side breathing. No confidence there. Lots of confidence that sitting in this chair, I know how to breathe. I'm going to do it. It's going to happen no matter what. Now, we want to look for the place where you go from this feeling of confidence that you have right now around breathing to the first moment this feeling starts to change. It may even be happening right now in anticipation of the water and breathing. This is how powerful your thoughts are. We can produce a feeling of concern about breathing in water when we're not even in the water. The good news is we are learning how to be in control of our mind and our thoughts. You don't have to be stuck with the current thought. A different thought will produce a different feeling. Look for a place that you can produce the feeling of confidence in breathing in relationship to the water. Could you feel confident sitting next to the pool and breathing? Sitting with your feet in the water? Walking in the shallow water? Kneeling in the water so your chest is in the water but not your face? These may be areas that you could feel confident in. Now, notice though too what your thoughts are right now. A part of your brain, back to the sabotage part of your brain may be saying, yes, I can confidently breathe sitting next to the pool, but that's not good enough. What if, right? When we present our brain with a new way of being, you may be met with confusion, resistance, disassociation, mentally leaving. This is part of the process. Notice then the feel in your body and the sensations in your body. Feeling your body sensations right now brings you back into the present moment. Coming back to feeling your breath right now. Is it working? Are you getting air? You know how to breathe. It may seem simple to say, I am learning confidence with breathing by sitting on the side of the pool and breathing. I should be in the water working on fancy side breathing techniques. However, in order to get the fancy side breathing techniques, you must go with confidence. 80% of the learning is about the mindset before you even get to the physical skill. Physical skills only come out of alignment of an aligned mindset when you're together. Once you have confidence that you know how to bring your thoughts together, Then you are ready to move to the next step. When you are able to sit next to the pool, breathe, and have your thoughts be things like, of course I can breathe. Breathing is simple. I know when my body needs to inhale and exhale. This is what calm breathing feels like. I really want to get in the water and notice my breathing there too. If I am standing in shallow water, I think it'll be simple too. In other words, you have the feeling of trust, the feeling of firm truth, a feeling of self-assurance of your skills, confidence. You can take the next step. Confidence builds confidence. All right, I hope that was useful to think about how you continue to build it. It comes from within. You have it in you. It's just giving yourself the space and the time to discover it and to play with it. Play with it in your life today. When you're ready to come to the water, let us know and we'll help you through all those steps too. See you next time.
Thanks for listening. Are you ready to take some action? 3 ways to the freeway. Subscribe, join a free webinar, get started online where we break down the steps, making them simple, and we support you along the journey. So maybe you'll join us in Hawaii. Jump on over to orcaswimschool.com.